Look, I have to share something a bit embarrassing with you. I spent the last 3 months reading every single thing I could find about charisma. I dove into scientific papers, psychology textbooks, body language guides, and neuroscience research. After filling 100 pages with notes, I discovered something that completely redefines how we think about human connection. Here is what nobody tells you about charisma. It is not some magical gift you are born with. It is not about genetics or natural talent. And it is definitely not about being the loudest person in the room. It is funny how we will spend years learning Excel formulas or mastering our coffee order, but we think charisma should just happen naturally, like expecting to play the piano without ever touching the keys. The research is crystal clear and honestly mind-blowing. Charisma is a learnable skill set with specific, measurable components. MIT researchers have proven it. Harvard Business School teaches entire courses on it. Yet we are still out here thinking some people just mysteriously have it while others do not. You know what is wild? Every single charismatic person you have ever met is using the same invisible playbook. They might not even know they are doing it, but their brains are following patterns that neuroscience can now explain down to the millisecond. This is not about becoming someone else or putting on a performance. It is about understanding the actual science of human connection. And once you see what I found in these 100 pages, you literally cannot unsee it. Let's dive into the first major revelation regarding how we communicate. Chapter 1, the 93% you are missing. All right, prepare to have your mind completely blown. Are you ready for this? Only 7% of charisma comes from your actual words. 7%. Let that sink in for a second. That means 93% of whether people find you charismatic has absolutely nothing to do with that clever thing you said or that perfect joke you told. It is like spending all your time perfecting your sandwich filling while completely ignoring that your bread is moldy. We are all out here memorizing conversation starters and witty comebacks when we should be working on literally everything else. Here is the breakdown that changed how I see every single interaction. 55% is body language. How you stand, move, gesture, and take up space. 38% is your voice. Not what you say, but how you say it. Tone, pace, rhythm, emotion, and resonance. That leaves just 7% for your actual words. Think about that person everyone describes as incredibly charismatic. Watch them with the sound completely off. They are probably doing something fundamentally different with their body. Now listen without watching. Their voice has a quality that magnetically draws you in. Your brain processes these nonverbal signals 12 times faster than words. Before someone even finishes their sentence, you have already subconsciously decided if you trust them, like them, or want to follow them. So we are all walking around as 7% of our potential charismatic selves. It is time to unlock the other 93%. Moving on to how you present yourself physically to the world. Chapter 2. Your body is talking. Your body is having full conversations you do not even know about right now. As you are listening to this, your posture is broadcasting a message to everyone around you and probably to yourself too. Here is where it gets absolutely weird. Harvard researchers discovered that changing your posture for just 2 minutes actually changes your hormones. Stand in a power pose, think Wonder Woman or Superman stance, and your testosterone rises while cortisol drops. You literally become more confident on a chemical level. It is not positive thinking, it is biochemistry. But charismatic body language is not about dominating space like some alpha gorilla. It is about something psychologists call comfortable expansion. You take up the space you need. No more, no less. Like you belong exactly where you are without apology or arrogance. Watch any truly charismatic person enter a room. They move with what researchers call unhurried intentionality, not slow like they are moving through molasses, but like they are not apologizing for existing. It is funny how we rush through spaces like we are stealing oxygen from everyone else. Eye contact is where most of us completely fail the charisma test. We either stare like serial killers or dart our eyes around like guilty criminals. The magic formula: 60 to 70% eye contact while speaking and 100% while listening. But here is the trick. Look at one eye, then the other, then the mouth. It creates a natural triangle that feels engaged, not intense. Now let's explore the power of your sound and vocal delivery. Chapter 3, the voice transformation. Okay, this is going to feel weird at first, but your voice might be sabotaging your charisma without you even knowing it. And I am not talking about your accent or vocabulary. Scientists studying charismatic speakers found something shocking. People rated as most charismatic speak 23% slower than average. Not boring slow like they are reading a grocery list, but purposeful slow like their words have actual weight and meaning. Here is the part nobody wants to hear. Most of us talk like we are being charged by the word. We race through sentences, cramming thoughts together, and barely breathing between ideas. We sound like we are trying to finish before someone interrupts us, because usually that is exactly what we are doing. The charismatic voice has what researchers call resonance. It comes from breathing into your belly, not your chest. Put your hand on your stomach right now. If it moves when you breathe, you are accessing your full voice. If only your chest moves, you are operating at 40% vocal capacity. But here is what really blew my mind about vocal charisma. It is not about having a deep voice like James Earl Jones. It is about having a varied voice. Monotone is the absolute charisma killer regardless of pitch. The ultimate charismatic voice hack? End your sentences by going down in pitch, not up. Going up sounds like you are asking permission to exist. Going down sounds like you actually know what you are talking about. Next, we look at the most underrated skill in any social interaction. Chapter 4, the listening superpower. This is going to sound completely backwards, but the most charismatic people barely talk. They have mastered something that feels like a lost art in our world: deep, transformative listening. Here is what we usually do. Someone is talking, and we are mentally rehearsing our response, checking our phone under the table, or just desperately waiting for our turn. We are physically there, but mentally writing our grocery list, and people can absolutely feel it. Charismatic listeners do something radically different. They listen like detectives searching for buried treasure, not just to words, but to emotions, values, and dreams hiding between the lines. They are fully present in a way that has become revolutionary. You know what is funny? We all complain that nobody listens to us while simultaneously being terrible at listening ourselves. It is like everyone is at a party talking to themselves and wondering why they feel lonely. The research on this is mind-blowing. When someone feels truly heard, their brain releases the same chemicals as falling in love. Oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin flood their system. You literally become biochemically addictive to be around. But here is the technique that elevates your communication instantly. It is called reflective validation. You do not just nod like a bobblehead. You reflect back what you heard, adding the emotion you sensed. So, you felt frustrated when that happened. Simple, but it makes people feel seen in their souls. Let's talk about being real and the strength found in imperfection. Chapter 5, Vulnerability is Your Weapon. This completely flipped everything I thought I knew about charisma. The most magnetic people are not perfect. They are perfectly imperfect, and they own it completely. We have got it totally backwards. We think charisma means having no weaknesses, never stumbling, and always knowing exactly what to say, like we are trying to be human Instagram filters. Meanwhile, people are desperately craving something real in a world full of facades. Researchers call it the vulnerability paradox. Showing strategic vulnerability actually increases your perceived strength. Not dumping your entire trauma history on strangers at Starbucks, but admitting mistakes, sharing appropriate struggles, and acknowledging when you do not know something. Think about the most charismatic leaders throughout history. They tell stories about their failures. They laugh at themselves. They admit when they are nervous. And somehow this makes them more powerful, not less. Here is what vulnerability does to your brain chemistry. When someone shares something genuinely vulnerable, your mirror neurons fire like crazy. You literally feel more connected because they trusted you with something real. It is biological bonding. But vulnerability without boundaries is just emotional dumping. It is like seasoning and cooking. A little transforms the entire dish, but too much ruins everything. The key is matching the depth to the relationship level. Perfection is intimidating. Vulnerability is magnetic. Stop trying to be flawless and start being courageously real. Consider how your internal mood affects everyone around you. Chapter 6. The Emotional Contagion Effect. Your emotions are literally contagious, and I mean that scientifically, not metaphorically. You are basically a walking emotional virus infecting everyone around you, whether you realize it or not. Researchers discovered something wild using brain imaging. When you are around someone, your brain starts mimicking their emotional state within 50 milliseconds. That is faster than conscious thought. Before you even realize what is happening, you are catching their mood like an emotional cold. This explains why some people drain your energy just by walking into the room. We have all met them. The emotional vampires who leave you exhausted after 5 minutes. Their negativity literally rewires your brain temporarily. You are not imagining it. But here is where charismatic people have cracked the code. They manage their emotional state like Olympic athletes manage their bodies. They know their energy affects everyone in their orbit, so they show up intentionally. It is not about fake positivity or pretending everything is perfect. That actually backfires because people sense the disconnect. It is about genuine emotional regulation, feeling your feelings but choosing which ones you amplify in public. You know what is funny? We worry so much about what to say, but people remember how we made them feel. Maya Angelou was absolutely right, and neuroscience proves it. The most charismatic emotional state is what researchers call calm enthusiasm. Excited about life, but not manic. Peaceful, but not boring. Like you have got a secret that makes everything more interesting. Now let's look at the art of narrative and how to make an impact. Chapter 7, Stories That Stick. Here is something that will completely mess with your head. Our brains literally cannot tell the difference between a well-told story and real experience. When you hear a vivid story, your brain acts like it is actually happening to you. This is why charismatic people are almost always incredible storytellers. They do not just share information like they are reading a Wikipedia page. They create experiences in your mind that you remember forever. But most of us tell stories like we are reading ingredient lists. This happened, then this happened, then this other thing happened. No emotion, no sensory details, no transformation. Just facts nobody will remember 5 minutes later. Charismatic stories follow what they call the transformation triangle. A character faces an unexpected challenge, the character struggles and grows through conflict, and the character emerges fundamentally changed. Every compelling story is really about becoming. The stories that stick always have specific sensory details. Not "it was a nice day," but "the sun felt like warm honey on my skin." Your brain processes sensory language in the exact same regions as real sensations. Here is the storytelling secret that makes stories land differently. Make your listener the hero. Even when telling your story, frame it so they see themselves in it. You know that feeling when instantly creates a neural connection. We are wired for stories. It is how we make sense of chaos, master storytelling, and you master human connection itself. Let's address the ethics of this skill and how to use it properly. Chapter 8. The Influence Framework. Let's address the elephant in the room. Is charisma just manipulation with better marketing? This question kept me up at night while researching. Here is the distinction that matters more than anything. Manipulation is getting people to do what benefits you at their expense. Influence is helping people do what benefits them. Charisma without ethics is just exploitation wearing a nice suit. But ethical influence follows predictable patterns. Robert Cialdini spent decades documenting them, not to trick people, but to understand how good ideas spread and bad ones die. The most powerful influence principle is alignment with existing values. Charismatic people do not convince you to change your fundamental values. They show how their ideas support what you already believe matters. You know what is funny about persuasion? The harder you push, the more people resist. It is like trying to push a door that clearly says, pull. Charismatic influence feels like an invitation to a party, not an invasion of your space. Here is what blew my mind. The most influential people ask for small commitments first. Not change your entire life, just try this for one day. A small yes leads to a bigger yes. It is psychology, not sorcery. The question is not, how can I be more influential? It is, how can I use influence to genuinely make things better? That shift reshapes your entire approach. Here is how you make these skills a permanent part of your life. Chapter 9, The Integration Secret. Here is where most people fail spectacularly with charisma. They learn all these techniques and turn into robotic charisma machines, like they are performing a script instead of actually being human. The secret is something neuroscientists call unconscious competence. You practice until it becomes as natural as breathing. Like how you do not think about walking anymore, your charisma needs to flow without mental gymnastics. But integration does not mean using every technique all the time. That is exhausting for everyone involved. It is like cooking. You do not dump every spice into every dish. You choose what serves the moment. People worry charisma training will make them fake. Meanwhile, they are already performing social roles just badly. We all perform in social situations. Charisma training just helps you perform as your best authentic self. The integration happens in layers. First, you notice what you are already doing. Then you adjust one element at a time. Your posture today, your voice tomorrow. Slow, sustainable changes that actually stick. Here is what nobody tells you about mastering charisma. You will mess up constantly at first. You will overdo the eye contact, forget to breathe while speaking, or tell stories that ramble nowhere. It is all part of the process. The goal is not to become a different person. It is to become the person you always were, just with better tools. Finally, let's look at your daily routine to sharpen these tools. Chapter 10, The Daily Practice. All right, let's get ruthlessly practical. All this knowledge means absolutely nothing if you do not use it. So here is your daily charisma workout that could work. Morning mirror work. It sounds weird, but it is pure neuroscience. 2 minutes of power posing while brushing your teeth. Your brain does not know you are in Batman pajamas. It just feels the confidence chemicals flowing. The coffee shop laboratory. Order your drink using one new vocal technique. Slower pace Monday. Deliberate pauses Tuesday. Warm tone Wednesday. Nobody knows you are practicing. They just think you are unusually friendly. The name game builds instant connection. Actually remember and use one person's name today. Not 5 people, just one. Say it when you meet them, during conversation, and when you leave. Watch their face literally light up. You know what is brilliant about micro practices? They compound faster than you think. 1% better daily equals 3,700% better in a year. That is not motivation, that is math. The listening challenge. In one conversation today, ask 3 genuine questions before sharing anything about yourself. Not interrogation, but genuine curiosity. Watch how differently people respond. Here is my favorite daily practice, the energy check-in. Before any interaction, ask yourself, what energy am I bringing? It takes 5 seconds, small actions, daily repetition, exponential results. That is how charisma becomes your default setting. To wrap everything up, let's look at the big picture of your journey. So here we are, 100 pages of research condensed into one transformative truth. Charisma is not about becoming someone else. It is about removing what blocks who you already are. Think about where you started this video. Maybe you believed charisma was for other people, the naturally gifted, the extroverts, the born leaders. Now you know that is the biggest lie we tell ourselves. Every element we have covered, body language, voice, listening, vulnerability, energy, stories, influence, they are all just tools. You do not need to master them all immediately. Start with what resonates and build from there. You know what excites me most? You are not starting from zero. You already have charismatic moments, times when you naturally light up, connect deeply, and inspire others. This journey is about having more of those moments on purpose. The path forward is simpler than you think. Pick one element that grabbed you and practice it for a week. Not perfectly, just consistently. Watch what shifts in your interactions. Here is what I wish someone had told me. Charisma is not a destination, it is a practice. Some days you will nail it, and others you will forget everything. Both are part of becoming. Your charisma journey starts with one decision, not to be perfect, but just to begin. The world needs what you have to offer. It is time to let it shine. If this exploration of the science of charisma changed how you view your daily interactions, please subscribe and like the channel. We are uncovering the hidden psychological blueprints that define human connection. Start building your magnetic future today. The next breakthrough in human potential will be revealed soon.